Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Got a couple of questions for you. Are you sensitive? I mean, do you seem to feel things a lot deeper than the average person? Or maybe, you have this sense of feeling that sometimes when you step into a room, you could just feel the essence of what was lingering there, whether it was a happy celebration or maybe a sad situation, or maybe if there was an argument in the room. Does this sound like you at all? Where sometimes you can feel things before they even happen? If you are in the right place today because we're going to be talking about empaths, intuitives, and highly sensitive people today on our next episode of Healing in Ways You Never Thought Possible with your host, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, myself. I too am an empath, intuitive, and highly sensitive person, so I can feel your pain or confusion sometimes around that. Being an empath, intuitive, and highly sensitive person comes with a whole set of how am I going to describe it? Challenges, but blessings at the same time. Now, let's take a step further. What really is an empath? I define an empath as somebody who is able to feel things and take things on from another person, meaning that you're a sponge and energetically you don't know where you end or something else begins. It's about the boundaries of our energetic field. It's like if you look at your energetic field, it's like instead of being smooth and it's like dovetailed. So it's just like sometimes you're here, other people's stuff are here, and it's like getting interconnected. And then this little bridging here between all the fingers is where it is like the gray area of not knowing where I end and something else begins. Now, an intuitive is somebody who can feel things, but also sense things, but also maybe they're able to see things, hear things, or kinesthetically, a combination of all those, where they're able to, I don't like the word predict, but on a timeline that maybe a certain person is, this is what it's to come. They're able to see down a timeline if a person continues on that timeline. Um, they're the ones that are often the visionaries. They can see things happening way before they actually happen, if it's still on the same timeline in the trajectory. Do you ever have these brilliant ideas and you know that they will work? You put a program together and then you're sitting there waiting for, why is this not manifesting? You may be a visionary because you're able to see down maybe 5, 6, 10 years out of what is actually going to be needed, and you're able to maneuver that. So that's really a gift in its own aspect because you're able to see what's coming ahead and prepare for it if you choose to. And then lastly, a highly sensitive person. I kind of feel that they're the combination of an empath and intuitive. A highly sensitive person feels things very deeply, and sometimes they're just overwhelmed with a lot of motion, a lot of motion and movement, I call it a lot of energetic discord that's in one place. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes going to a rock concert for an empath, intuitive, or highly sensitive person, more so a highly sensitive person, is like it puts them over the edge and they're just overwhelmed with the energy of what's happening because they're feeling everything. So maybe that's not the best place for a person who's a highly sensitive person, where there's going to be a lot of people. When you have a lot of people, there's a lot of energy and a lot of chaos. Um, Self-care for that person would not be going to Disney World. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it would just overwhelm them. And then it's like sometimes when you're on overwhelm, you need to put yourself on timeout and pull yourself out of that so that you can regroup and renew and refresh yourself. So a lot of times what happens is that people think, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's going on." They haven't even woken up to the fact that they're possibly either an empath, intuitive, or highly sensitive person. And a lot of times when you wake up to it, it's like this big epiphany or aha moment, like, "Oh my God, now that's exactly who I am and what's been happening." And you'll read something that aligns with you so much that describes it, and it's just like, trust that. The good news is that since you've woken up and you've realized that maybe you are an empath, intuitive, or a highly sensitive person, is to look at how your life has been running. Have you been really struggling, or maybe not even thriving, but you're just surviving and getting by? That's really no way to live. Once you're aware of it, there's lots of resources out there. There's more people who are empaths, intuitives, and highly sensitive people than you could imagine. Yes, we could be the life of the party when we choose to, but sometimes it's like when we are going through things or feeling things, because it's like we take on a lot of stuff, a lot of energetic stuff through our physical body. And what happens sometimes is that instead of allowing it to flow through our body and to be grounded out into the earth, it gets stuck in our body, and we start thinking that, number one, there's something wrong with us, or maybe I need to fix this for other people, or whatever kind of goes on in your mind. And a lot of times that's not the truth. It's just that we are wired differently. We take on the world and experience it differently. Sometimes it's not ours to fix. Okay. So when we think that, or we feel like we're drawn to fixing something that is not our problem, I invite you to just pull yourself back and just say, okay, is this my stuff or not? And then a nice little phrase that I always like to add is that if this is not my stuff, it needs to leave my energy field immediately in the name of the laws of the universe. Because when something comes into our space and it affects us, either subconsciously or unconsciously, we are allowing this to happen. Yes, we are. But a lot of times it's on an unconscious level. So when you are coming from unconsciousness to consciousness, and you're unaware, and now you're aware that things are happening, that's where your power comes in, and you could choose something different. Now, getting back to that statement, if this is not my stuff, it needs to leave my energy field immediately in the name of the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe are this: you are a sovereign being. You're allowed to be here. Nothing can interfere with you unless you allow it. Now, we had just talked about unconscious and conscious. Oftentimes, we go through life on unconscious mode. So, on some level, we are giving permission for this to happen. So, when you're making that declaration to yourself that I no longer allow this to come into my space if it's not mine to fix, and it needs to leave immediately by the laws of the universe, it will leave immediately. You will feel a shift. So that is a real interesting tool to have in your tool belt. It's a very simple one. Next time you feel like you're on overwhelm, I invite you to say that. Just take a deep breath and say, if this is not my stuff, it needs to remove itself immediately by the laws of the universe, and see what happens. Play with it, experiment with it, do what you need to make it your own. And know that this doesn't mean that you're going to always be this way. Just know that now that you have this awareness, your path's going to be a little easier because you have a tool that's going to help you shift and move forward. I always tell my clients that some of the most important things that empaths, intuitives, and highly sensitive people are here to do for humanity as whole is to teach others how to feel and how to connect on a deeper level, because we're in a world where feeling has been given a bad rap. We're either ignoring our feelings or putting them on a shelf, or just compartmentalizing them, but we're not truly experiencing our feelings. And empaths, intuitives, and highly sensitive people are here to reawaken us to that. So I'm going to sign off for now. I invite you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and it's here on the bottom here. It's at Dr. Dolores Fazzino on the YouTube channel. I really would appreciate your subscriptions. And if you're interested in having a more balanced and in the moment type of experience, I invite you to sign up for our free video, and it's a guided meditation. It's about 5 to 7 minutes long. It allows you to reorient yourself to be in the present moment. And it allows you to get more grounded in your physical body. And we could all use a little bit of that in these days. So next week, I'm excited because we're going to talk about listening and trusting your inner wisdom. And spaced in between that, I'm going to be having a guest. Her name is Jen Tolo Wren. She is a nurse, but also a phenomenal practitioner of alternative and combining Western medicine. So look forward to having a brief encounter with her, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, signing off. Have a beautiful and blessed day, and see you next time. Bye now.